How we doing, everyone? Hola todos. My goal with this first module is to provide the umbrella overview of all things marketing. That's the goal. That's the goal. So when we talk about marketing and what is marketing, I like to think about it from 6 different perspectives. One perspective is value. Another one is needs and wants. Another is marketing always involves an exchange. Marketing, of course, is a function of the 4 Ps, and we will spend multiple segments talking about strategies via the 4 Ps. Marketing can be both B2B and B2C. We also can talk about C2C marketing. And also it can happen in many settings. And what we're going to do is probably spend at least a slide on each of these to provide this overview of what is marketing and all things marketing. The first of these things are needs and wants. Marketing is about satisfying needs and wants. First, let's talk about the difference between a need and a want. A need is something we have to have. In other words, humans, us, we need liquid. We need water. We could probably go about 2.5 days, maybe 3 days, depending on the conditions, without putting liquids past our lips. Longer than 3 days, chances are you'll have internal organ failure and you will die. We need liquid, okay? Do we need Aquafina? Do we need Pepsi? Do we need Sprite? Do we need Mountain Dew? No, we do not need those. Maybe we want them. But marketers tend to take a specific need, we have needs, into a want. Like, I need transportation to get to Seton Hall. I have a very competent, very efficient, 56 miles per gallon Toyota Prius. It's a fantastic car. It satisfies my need for transportation. I still want a Tesla, though. I love Teslas. Many of them passed me by on a commute up or a commute back from campus. Do I need a Tesla? No. It's a want. Marketing always involves some kind of an exchange. Hold that thought. Let me hit pause. 2 seconds. So when we talk about an exchange, we're usually talking about dead presidents, right? Because we exchange dead presidents for goods and services. Sometimes we don't do dead presidents and we use one of these things. But either way, we're exchanging our hard-earned cash for some kind of a good or some kind of a service. Now, just so you know, some marketing doesn't always involve dead presidents. Sometimes we're communicating an idea, such as we all have seen a TED Talk. I love TED Talks. It's part of the podcast I listen to on a regular basis, right? So that is an exchange of an idea. The political process, there's no direct money exchange, okay? It's more of selling an idea and voting on an idea. That's the exchange. All marketing strategy is a function of one or more of the 4 Ps. 1 P is product, 1 P is price, 1 P is promotion, and 1 P is place. Now, place is really channels or supply chain management or distribution, but it wouldn't sound as cool or as catchy saying 4 Ps and the channels. We wanted 4 Ps, so he called it place. Okay, that would be the professor who created the original book. Okay? Now, when we talk about marketing strategies, we talk about the optimal mix of how much product versus price versus place versus promotion. All marketing strategy impacts these 4 items, and we will spend an entire chapter or module on each of these 4 items. Okay? So briefly, when we talk about product, we're also talking about physical things like this is a product, these are a product, right? Hey, Star Wars fan, this little lightsaber is a product. This is a physical product, and we'll talk about the difference between physical products, goods, and intangible products. We call them services. Things you cannot touch, or things that are very difficult to own, like a hotel stay or an airline flight. Those are services. An Uber ride, although I'm not a big fan of Uber, a Lyft ride, that's much better. And then we also have, like I mentioned, ideas, such as TED Talk. That is a product. It's the offering. That's probably a good way to say it. Price. Price is what we give up, dead presidents, time, energy, in exchange for something. When we do the pricing module, we will talk about the give-get ratio, how much we give up for what we perceive in getting back. All right? And price is that fulcrum of, okay, where do I feel okay giving something up versus what I'm getting back? That's the price. Okay? Do a whole module on price. Place. I really like to call it supply chain management, to be honest with you. And we will spend a good amount of time talking about supply chain and talking about channels and talking about distribution. But it's all the activities up to purchase, right? That's place. How you particularly buy a particular product or a particular service. Promo. Now, this is what most people think marketing is, and only this. Advertising, public relations, personal selling. And if there's one lesson we're going to get out of this entire What is Marketing module is marketing is not just one thing. It's a function of many things. So think about marketing as the overall arching strategy. And underneath of it is 4 P's. P, 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 and P, one of which is promotion. We create a unified marketing strategy with the most optimal mix of a P, a P, a P, and a P, depending on our product and depending on our service. Now, marketing can be done by an individual, a consumer. It can be done from businesses to consumers. It can be done from businesses to businesses. And we also have, in today's day and age with digital, we have consumer to consumer. We have Etsy, we have eBay, we have platforms, even on Amazon and the marketplaces, we can do consumer to consumer. Craigslist, for instance, perfect example. But we can also talk about social and digital as, social media as part of a consumer to consumer exchange of ideas. So when we also talk about marketing, we tend to talk about stakeholders, okay? Now, of course, there's customers, and that's the obvious stakeholder when we're talking about marketing. But we also have to think about the greater society. We have to think about the employees within our firms that make these products or services. We also need to talk about all the members in our supply chain that provides either raw materials that we may manufacture or help us distribute post-manufacturing or maybe ultimate sale, our retail partners. We have partners in order to deliver value. They are part of our supply chain. So don't just think about marketing and customers. There are multiple stakeholder groups. Now, value. Now, we're going to get to it in a second, okay? Specifically talking about value. But I have this hang up with the term value. Value is the correct term, right? In other words, what you get is the value created from marketing. And we could see that from the turn of the century up through the Roaring 20s, the value was all about raw production of goods and services because there really wasn't mass production of. Having a standardized and also having availability of goods, that was a really big deal. Between the 20s and post-World War II, it was really about selling because there was a lot of production. So it was more about moving the product and selling. Between the 50s and really the mid to late 90s, it was more about marketing to specific customer segments. There was enough product and competition out there that you couldn't just have the one black car, the Model T. So you had to do a better job of marketing certain vehicles to certain customer populations. And when we really, since the very, very late 90s, the early 2000s to the present day, we talk about creating specific value for particular customer groups. Okay, this is, think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Value-based marketing is really going up the hierarchy of needs as opposed to more towards wants, more towards higher order thinking. So value-driven companies, they need ways to, across their organization, balance their cost to what they deliver and give customers what they want. Okay? And there are companies that really, either you can call them market-oriented, you can call them outside in, but they look at, I'm going to deliver value to my customers, and we'll figure out a good way to do that for them. I see the needs external. An inside-out view is, we make widgets, I'm going to sell widgets, I'm a widget company, I'll figure out a way to persuade you to buy the widget that I make. As opposed to seeing it from your perspective, the customer, hearing the wants and needs from the customer, and then satisfying those wants and needs. That's a value-driven company. So why is marketing really important? Well, we can talk about marketing as being entrepreneurial and creating jobs. We can talk about marketing as it expands a particular global presence. We can talk about marketing having lots of impacts on society. We can talk about how marketing is pervasive across the supply chain globally. I mean, think about this little device here. Okay, I keep picking it up. I apologize, but it's right next to me, so it's handy dandy convenient. This has, I'm declining the call. This has about 169 products, 169 pieces from about 33 countries. I'm doing these off the top of my head, but I could provide you with a link if you really want to know. That are sourced all over the world, that eventually get shipped to China in the greater Shenzhen area, manufactured, and then shipped to 110 countries after that. You could say it impacts tons of individuals within the supply chain, tons of companies. Really big deal. So the American Marketing Association defines marketing as the activity, set of institutions, processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that provide value for customers, for clients, B2B, partners, B2B, and society at large. This definition comes from the American Marketing Association. It is very accurate. I actually know some of the people that worked on this definition, okay, because it was completely revised in the early 2000s, and that's the definition we're looking at. There's nothing wrong with this definition. I just think it's really long and obtuse, okay? I like my definition. It's, coming from a what is marketing 101 perspective, I think this is the easier way to start. My definition of marketing is find out what people want and give it to them, right? Now, as much as I would love to take credit for that definition, it was actually one of my marketing professors when I was getting my MBA who blurted this out, and I've adopted it as my own ever since. So we're going to go through all the elements of this definition through the various modules. Finding out is marketing research. What people want is buyer behavior, and giving it to them is segmenting, targeting, and positionings of the 4 P's, P, 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 and P. All right? So to wrap up this module, we probably have to talk about some of the misconceptions of marketing, the oversimplification of marketing. Many people think that marketing is just entertainment and catchy advertising. That advertising is only one of the 5 functions of 1P. And remember, marketing is a function of strategy of all 4 Ps. Marketing is just nothing but pushy salespeople. Again, personal selling is only one of the 4 Ps. And yes, there's a lot of bad salespeople out there that give marketing a bad name. Shame on them, but not shame on us. Marketing is nothing but famous brands and their celebrity spokespeople. Again, this is just the promo P. And yes, there's celebrity endorsement. And yes, that exists. And it is a tool. But that is not just marketing. That's ignoring not only elements of the 1P, it's ignoring the other 3 Ps. Marketing overstates and underdelivers. Well, there are some bad companies out there. And yes, guess what? They don't help us. They create a bad image for us. Marketing departments own the marketing initiative. I disagree with this wholeheartedly. I just talked about market-oriented firms that go out and find value to customers. They see things from the outside. It's the outside-in perspective. It's not just the marketing department. Okay, that's an inside-out perspective. Marketing is just a cost. Well, this is actually inaccurate because, yes, there are costs associated with marketing activities within the firm, but marketing is very interesting because marketing is actually the revenue-generating aspect of the firm. If we look within the promotion P and we look within salespeople, or if we look within the product P and we talk about products, goods, and services, they generate the revenue for the firm. And without marketing, there is no revenue. Marketing is inherently unethical and harmful to society. Well, we already talked about the benefits of marketing to society. Yes, there is a certain amount of an unethical behavior practiced by marketing people. There are salespeople who are very pushy. There are salespeople that overstate and underdeliver. They practice unethical behavior that taints what marketing is. We can't hide that. It's in plain sight. But it's oversimplification to think that a certain percentage of bad actors is representative of the entire whole. Okay? So that is our wrap up of what is marketing. And where we're going to go from here is spend a significant amount of time drilling down on each one of these modules to further dive into what is marketing. Okay? Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Use the force.